morning is Leadership Challenges in Nigeria, the role of Citizenship and Leadership Training Center. And our special guest talking on this topic this morning is no other person than the amiable Director of Human Resources Management, Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, Mrs. Veronica O. Ada Uche. Please join us as we go in the discussion. Thank you. Can you briefly tell the listeners your organization, your prospects, and your relevance in addressing the age-long menace of leadership challenges in Nigeria?
Okay.
Thank you.
Citizenship and Leadership Training Center is a human development outfit established for the purpose of training and molding of Nigerian citizenry to become responsible and respectable citizens and leaders. And the organization was founded in 1955-51, even before Nigeria became a nation, before our independence. And it was founded by British government, and I can tell it was the second in the world to run the very well popularized Man-O-War Training Center. And this Man-O-War training, it's a community development and leadership outfit. The Man-O-War is just one of our arms, but it's not our major mandate. It's one of our mandates in Citizenship and Leadership Training Center.
Then, your organization is assumably believed to build and mold leaders by virtue of the peculiarity of your training. It is assumed you build leaders. You train leaders. You train citizens to become good leaders of this nation. Then, what is the place of your organization, that is the Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, in addressing this long existing problem in Nigeria? What is the position of your organization? Because your organization is known to have built leaders, to have molded leaders, and that is still building leaders. Then what is your position in addressing this long existing problem in Nigeria, which is the leadership challenges?
Now, the topic before me is leadership challenges in Nigeria and the role of Citizenship and Leadership Training Center. Peradventure, we may just mention some issues that we like to look into in the center. Okay, so we know that we have certain challenges of unemployment. We have challenges of mentorship. We have challenges of essential services, so on and so forth. We have the issues of marginalization. We have tribalism, ethnic conflicts. You know, there are some issues with intolerances here and there, corruption, which we know is one of the strongest points of this particular regime. They want to really fight corruption, and they are putting things in places. So these are the things we believe in that citizenship and leadership training can help in addressing. So, yes.
Yes. Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, by virtue of its position and attitude towards human molding and building, it is believed that they can address these issues you just mentioned. But how have they been able to do this?
Okay, thank you very much.
Or what is their position? What is their stand in addressing these challenges?
Okay. Citizenship and leadership training exposes or even initiates its participants to We expose them to societal values, human values. We encourage their efforts to be geared towards making members of the society, to recognize their rightful duties, to recognize their responsibilities, not only to themselves, but to another person, to another fellow human being, their duties and responsibilities to the family, their duties and responsibility in the society, whichever society in which they find themselves. The role of the center goes into helping them to function well in their society, in their churches, to function well in the nations, in the mosque, to function well in the schools. That is why we say leadership touches almost every aspect, even on the road, how to behave when they get there. Our trainings teach and encourage Nigerians to be team spirited. The kind of trainings we give enable you to show love, empathy, sympathy to other persons, to be selfless. Our trainings teach you to be kind, helpful. We teach volunteerism. We teach honesty and transparency. And you agree with me, these virtues, if properly imbibed, will help and go a long way to develop patriotism and nationalism in the beneficiary of our trainings. We further teach that nothing is insurmountable by inculcating courage, discipline, and boldness in our participants. You mentioned something about peculiarity. In our different training schools across the nation, we have training schools across all the geopolitical zones in Nigeria, and we use the peculiarities of the physical environment to teach these values, to teach boldness, to teach courage, and to bring to zero level fear of anything at all. And you agree with me, if a human being is fearless, and if a human being has love and empathy, if a human being is team spirited, that can carry people along, if a human being, it's volunteerism included, I mean, that such a person will actually be a good leader. And with regards to our peculiarities, we have a training school in Lagos. It's marine based. There are people that ordinarily, before they come for our trainings, they have fear, but by the time they are encouraged to conquer that fear of water, they will be able to face anything in life. We have our training school in Mountain School. It's called Mountain School, Sherry Hills, Jos, which we use the physical attributes there. The very high mountains. By the time you go through that training of climbing mountains, parachuting, and all those courses, you come out into the larger society. Nothing, absolutely nothing will scare you. You believe with you everything is possible, in addition to the other virtues that will be imbibed in you. So these are some of the things, just a little of what we do in Citizenship and Leadership Training Center to help people become better leaders wherever they find themselves.
Meaning, all potential leaders, irrespective of age, is qualified to attend your training programs.
Very true. Very, very, very true. And that is why even in the schools, in the primary schools, in the secondary schools, in the tertiary institutions, we have clubs there to help imbibe this in potential leaders like the prefects, so on and so forth.
Thank you very much. We are still on 93.7 FM, and the program remains CLTCR. And our special guest this morning, talking on the leadership challenges in Nigeria and the role of Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, is no other person than the Director, Human Resources Management, Citizenship and Leadership Training Center. Yes. Can you further itemize these leadership challenges in Nigeria?
Thank you very, very much, because it's quite a lot. But it gladdens one heart to know that leadership challenges is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. So in Nigeria, we have the challenge of insecurity. Well, if you're following the news, you see that it's a global, it's a universal issue. But with respect to Nigeria, we have the issue of, we have abandonment of very worthwhile projects done by previous regimes. And I see it as one of the bane of developments in Nigeria. So when a particular government initiates and actually carries out a worthwhile project, by the time that government goes, you notice that the next government may not continue with those worthwhile projects. So it's a challenge in Nigeria that we really believe that this present regime, because they're very focused in the development of projects, they can look into some of such abandoned projects which will minimize waste and continue with it. That leads me to another point, that continuity, it's a problem with leadership in Nigeria. And then we have the issue of succession, mentorship, and then we even have the issue of political will. These are some other challenges we have in Nigeria. Marginalization is also a challenge we have, but with prayer and collective support, we will get there.
Aside itemizing these leadership challenges in Nigeria, or as you have just rightly mentioned, what do you think is responsible for these challenges, and how can they be addressed?
Let me pick one.
Okay. What do you think are responsible for these challenges?
For example, now, the issue of succession. You know, it's a well-known fact that there's no success without a successor. So, what can help such an issue is a government that is in place, and in sitting government, while they are there, they can be mentoring, because you can't divorce succession from mentorship. So they can be mentoring others to continue in their stead. You will agree with me, it hasn't really been like that in Nigeria. So if we have a well laid down plan for mentoring so that our mentees can succeed, you will see that there will be continuity. Because we have mentored them, they have grown under our shadows. When we go, they can continue. And if there's continuity, there will be minimized, abandoned, worthwhile projects, and there will be almost zero wastage in Nigeria. It's a major issue we need to look into. And like I told you in our trainings, we actually address that, because in our trainings we have a course on team spirit. So we carry everybody along, not only our present colleagues, but those that are going to come up. That's the team spirit we're talking about. We teach them what we do, how we do, why we do, who we do for. By the time our time is up, we have raised people that have the kind of vision we had while we were there, and they can continue it. So Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, through our courses, can address that problem of successor and mentoring through our trainings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for the benefit of the listeners out there, I want to ask this question, ma. Are there efforts the organization has put in place to partner with the government in making sure that leaders are trained before occupying various government positions? Because if this is done, it will go a long way in addressing most of these challenges.
Thank you very much. During the MDG, our organization was a very strong channel to develop and empower the youth in order to somehow help in addressing the unemployment rate. So that was the way we partnered. We partner with the security agencies. We give them leadership training, but because they are security agencies, I will not mention how we do it. It's very sensitive, but we partner with the security outfits of this country. They come for our training. We have age-long standing partnership with the security agencies, so much so that even during the lockdown in 2019, because of the relevance of our partnership and our trainings, some of them had to go to the COVID-19 task force then to get waiver to go for our trainings. And that's how compulsory our training is in Nigeria. And the government, the federal task force, actually granted us permission to train them because it's so relevant to the stakeholders. So that's how relevant it is, and that is the role we play in the security architecture of Nigeria. So, but we will somehow still be needing more assistance from the government in order to achieve our mandates.
Thank you very much. As a follow-up question, will it be out of place if your organization proposes to the government to train leaders before assumption of office, possibly to put a stop to most of the causes of these challenges we are presently looking into?
Thank you very, very much, because in asking that question, you have actually made it easier for me. Thank you. Yes, it is actually highly germane, needed, necessary, important, desirable for the government to help us fulfill our mandates by establishing stronger policies on our behalf and also signing into law certain policies that will make it compulsory for political office holders to come for our training, because you can't give what you don't have. But by the time you come for the trainings in Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, you learn sympathy, you learn empathy, you learn love, you learn volunteerism, you learn honesty, you learn transparency, you learn how to be bold and to tackle challenges, which are just a few of the things we do. And the mindset of nothing is impossible, the mindset of I can surmount this challenge, be it insurgency, whatever. By the time they go through this training, my dear, and they come out, they'll be better leaders. And then the needy, the voiceless in the society will have a voice, because they would have learned how to love, how to help, how to rescue. They would have learned. These are just few of the things we do. So yes, it is very, very, very important for policies to be put in place for would-be leaders to go through our trainings, be they school students, be they in the tertiary institutions. The citizens are those that will end up being the leaders tomorrow. So the training is for everybody, not only people that are going to go into leadership positions, but the citizens too have to learn to be patriotic. They have to learn to show love. They have to learn commitment. They have to learn even how to support the government of the day. Not that the government is going one way, the citizens are going the other way. We have to learn synergy. And this is what we do in CLTC.
Thank you very much. Dear listeners, we shall be going on a short break. Please don't go away. The station remains 93.7 and the program remains Citizenship and CLTCR, a program of Citizenship and Leadership Training Center. Please stay tuned. Thank you.
So help me, make I do my part, make you do your part. Nigeria go better. So help me to defend our unity and uphold our honor and glory. So help me God. Wow.
This program is brought to you from Citizenship and Leadership Training Center.
Wow. I pray to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend our unity and uphold our honor and glory. So help me, make I do my part, make you do your part. Nigeria go better. So help me to defend our unity and uphold our honor and glory. So help me God. Wow.
You are welcome back to CLTCR on 93.7 FM. In case you are just joining us, and if you are just tuning in for the very first time into this program, the program is CLTCR on 93.7 FM. It is a program sponsored or a program of the Citizenship and Leadership Training Center on Citizen FM 93.7. And this morning, our special guest in the studio is no other person than Mrs. Veronica O. Ada Uche. And the topic she's handling this morning is leadership challenges in Nigeria, the role of Citizenship and Leadership Training Center. And from the Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, for now, I think she's the only one that can handle it as the head human resources management. Madam, you are welcome back to this program.
Thank you.
Yes, you were talking on the possible means of the government coming or making it mandatory for all leaders, irrespective of their positions, to undergo Citizenship and Leadership Training Center programs or trainings or courses before assumption of office, which I believe is a very good one. At least let our leadership traits or character or attitude be further built in them before assumption of duties, to avoid the present challenges we are having in Nigeria, or possibly to avoid the challenges, the leadership challenges we are presently addressing here in the studio this morning. Going further, what do you think government can do to make your organization achieve its mandate as regards leadership training? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The government should help us by making our trainings compulsory to all citizens of Nigeria. When I started, I mentioned those that are going into positions of leadership. But remember that at the beginning, when you said I should define who is a leader, I told you even in the houses, in our homes where we are from, in the families we have leaders. In the churches we have leaders. In the mosques we have leaders. Even in the bus, you enter the public transport, there's a leader taking you somewhere. So the government can help us fulfill our mandates better, faster, by making our trainings through policy implementation compulsory for all members of the country, everybody, every citizen. We are Citizenship and Leadership Training Center. So we don't concentrate only on the leaders, but also on the citizens, because it is the citizens that become leaders. So that takes me to the citizen. They should compulsorily go through our trainings to imbibe tolerance. We teach tolerance. We teach long suffering. You will agree with me. If we have religious tolerance, we will not have religious problems. We will not have, such challenges of because you are from this religion, because you are from this religion. No, they would have learnt it, and we also catch them young. There are persons in the society that will remember that even in the primary schools, they had man o' war clubs. In the secondary schools, they had man o' war clubs. By the time they learn tolerance, they learn team spirit, like I mentioned when I was talking about the leaders, they learn sympathy and empathy. My dear, there will not be intolerance, and this is a major challenge in the country. So we need the government to help us by establishing our clubs. They are the arm, one of the arms and the means through which we reach the community and the schools. To make it compulsory for students and people at large, even market women. There are courses we run for women. Our courses, they can be specialized, they are genderalized, and we can arrange to suit your needs. We've even trained National Transport Corporation, so there is no person and no group of persons we cannot train, but everybody should be exposed to this training for the purpose of achieving peace in the country, in our homes, in our society at large. And when people are newly employed or newly recruited, they need to be trained towards the virtues of honesty, hard work, and so on and so forth, to do away with laziness. They need to be trained to have zero tolerance for corruption. These are some of the things we train, and we need the federal government to help us enact laws that will make this compulsory. All graduating staff. Right now, the NYSC is handling students from the universities, but there is a sector we are believing God to be trained. We have OND graduates, we have NCE graduates, so on and so forth. We can expose, if enabled by the government, we can expose them to these worthwhile trainings, because they're also coming into the society, and one day they'll be leaders. So these are some ways the government can help us. And also, we've been suffering in Citizenship and Leadership Training Center from funds, paucity of funds. We hardly have money to carry out our trainings, and this training is more of social services, but our trainings are also residential. Money is needed. Quite a lot of people cannot afford the training, so they are subsidized to a large extent. So money is needed for us to reach the citizenry widely as much as possible. So we need the government to help us with fund releases, and even when the fund comes, they come very scarcely, they come very little, they trickle in. So it kind of paralyzes our trainings. So another area the government can help us in achieving our mandate and in making Nigeria a better society is establishment of our training schools at the state level. Right now, we have training schools at the geopolitical zones level. We have Mountain School, Sherry Hills, taking care of the North Central Zone. We have the C School and Owode schools taking care of the Southwest area. We have the Hill School in Enugu taking care of the Southeast. We have our training school, Forest School, in Alu, Port Harcourt, taking care of the South. So we have others like that taking care of the geopolitical zones, but it is geopolitical in as much as it's spread around Nigeria. But there's the need for the federal government to enable us to establish training schools in each state and the federal capital. This way, because that is what actually is helping NYSC, the spread, the outreach. So if we are well spread, we can get to the grassroots. We can, through the states, get to the local government level, get to the village level. We need the federal government to help us with this establishment and to give us facilities, states in the state, to give us offices, to enable us with equipment. Our training is very, very intensive and our equipment are expensive. So we need the federal government to come in if we want to really reach Nigeria very well and make the citizens better citizens, patriotic, emphatic, loving, kind, honest, transparent, and all that. We need to reach them. We are not reaching them, one, for funds reason and geographical reason. We need the federal government to come in and help us in this area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. From the message to the government from what you've said is the call for the spread of the call for the full representation of your organization in the 33 states and the FCT. Thank you very much. Believing that this spread will give room for further molding of the citizens, as the organization will be able to reach out to even the least person in any of the states to build them ahead of the leadership task, they might be delving into. Thank you very much. Nigeria is like an organization being managed by the government. Then, this is a personal question to you as the head of the human resource management of your organization, who manages both human and material resources of the organization. What do you personally think the government can do in respect to this topic under discussion?
As head of human resources, I'm very, very exposed to unemployment challenges in Nigeria. And I'll tell you, unemployment is the number one reason for crime rates in the country. Because when people have an income, they can plan themselves towards how they'll manage their life, knowing that something else is coming at so and so time. Unemployment is a major leadership challenge in Nigeria. And we've been promised very many previous governments, and they have tried their best. We hope that this government will do more for the unemployment issue. So because the more people that are employed, I believe the lesser the menace of robbery, of insecurity, of even kidnapping. These are things we're suffering, but if these people are gainfully employed, it will reduce it. So as a human resource person, I will plead with the government to help us create avenues. If they include some persons in this area, they'll know how to create employment for the Nigerian citizens. A lot of people, some don't even bother to go to school anymore because they're like, what will we get when we come out of school? And then those that are not in school, they still don't have something to manage themselves with because they don't have funds to start menial, small businesses, small scale, will be promised small scale, medium scale. They don't even have access to the funds that they can use to start something to help themselves. You understand? So if government will please throw their light into the aspect of employment stroke unemployment, beam their torchlight there, something good will come out of it for Nigeria. And a lot of organizations, they are understaffed. So government needs to look into this area and help us create avenues and give us permission. It is called waiver. Give some of the existing organizations waivers to add to their staff. And one way that it will even help us in Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, I just made a plea that the federal government should please give us state offices. Now, if this is approved, you agree with me that we will employ more people to man those state offices, thereby reducing to a large extent unemployment in Nigeria and making people gainfully employed. So it is my hope that a very strong stakeholder, policymaker, is listening to our cry from CLTC, so that in our own way we can contribute to making Nigeria a better place by training, reaching the grassroots through creation of state offices, and which will also have a good effect on reduction of unemployment people, and also a wonderful significant effect on reducing crime in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I think I'm equally on the same page with you that government should address unemployment, as this will go a long way in abating crime. Thank you very much. Then conclusively, what advice do you have for our leaders in line with our discussion?
All leaders were once citizens. They are still citizens. Leaders should be passionate about the ignored. There are people that are voiceless, that don't even know their left from their right because they don't have anybody beaming their lights on them. Our leaders should just look down and see the needs of the people that voted them in. At the time of election and voting, they took rice to some of these people, so they know that these people existed. They took things to them during campaigning. They should please still go back there. Those people are still there waiting for them. They are voiceless. They are there. They need amenities. They need hospitals in those dark areas. They need schools in those dark areas. They need a lot of social services there. Let our leaders please look down and go back home. That's what constituencies are about. They should go back to their constituencies and reach the unreached and listen to the voice of the voiceless and address it from down. Let it be a bottoms-up administration, not up-down, from the top down. Let's go down and look at those people that really, really need us. And I think with Citizenship and Leadership Training Center reaching the grassroots, we can help the government do this, and Nigeria will be better off for it. Don't forget that the insurgencies and some of these people that kill people on the streets, they are from those dark areas. They're in the bushes there. It's from these areas. I think CLTC can help to reach them and reduce the crime rates and make our own positive contribution to the leadership challenges Nigeria is facing. So it's a plea. I end my talk with pleading to my people out there. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I want to especially appreciate your coming, believing that when next we sought for your presence, you will not hesitate in granting us. And to our wonderful listeners out there, we say thank you for a time well spent with us. We believe you will not regret the time you have spent in listening to this program. Till we come your way, same time, same station, same program, next week. Stay blessed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
This program is brought to you from Citizenship and Leadership Training Center.
I pray to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend the unity and uphold honor and glory. So help me God. Make I do my part, make you do your part. Nigeria go better. So help me to defend the unity and uphold the honor and glory. So help me God.
This program is brought to you from Citizenship and Leadership Training Center.